So in this lesson today, I'd like to take a look at how you solve equations with one variable. And in this case, the variable for this particular problem is r. So this would read 4 times whatever r is plus 6 equals 14. And there's a number of ways to solve this. One would be to sort of guess and check. Like I could guess, 4 times 1 is 4, plus 6 is 10, so that's not enough. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 6 is 14. So I already know that the answer to this is 2. R is equal to 2, because I could say 4 times 2 plus 6 is equal to 14, or 8 plus 6 is 14. But what if I had a more difficult problem where I couldn't really guess, or that guessing didn't work, or I just am not a very good guesser, and so I couldn't have just kind of kept guessing. So here's how sort of the algebraic standard way of solving equations is. So this problem is 4 times r, the variable r, plus 6 equals 14. And sort of the general method of solving equations is to undo them until the only thing I'm left with is r equals something like I had up here. I want to end up with this. And so the way to do that is to undo things that are there so that the only thing left is this. So right here I have a plus 6. And so I could think of if I were to take 4r plus 6 but then subtract 6. And I have to do this to both sides. So the idea is whatever I do here on this side of the equal sign, on one side of the equal sign, has to be done to the other side in order to keep it equal. Because if you think about a negative 6 over here and negative 6 over here, it's still equal. It would be like me saying, asking you, is negative 6 equal to negative 6? Yes, that's true. So as long as there's the same thing on both sides of an equal sign, it's still equal. So in my undoing of this, since this is plus 6, and that plus is a positive 6 or plus 6, it's the same thing. This is a minus 6 or plus a negative 6. So now we're going to think about positive and negative numbers a little bit as we do this. So now I'm going to go ahead and actually rewrite this 4 plus nothing, because plus 6 minus 6, that's what I mean by undoing. That means that goes away. And I get 14 minus 6 is 8. And now this is 4 times r, and so the opposite or undoing of multiplication is division. So if I divide both of these by 4, 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 1 times r is r, so I'm left with r equals 8 divided by 4, which is 2. And that's what I originally found just by guessing. So I could have guessed and found it, or if I am trying to understand how I might do a more difficult problem that's going to require more steps, this would be the algebraic way. And so this is a good example, problem 1 of the skill worksheet in solving equations is the problem that I just solved. 4r plus 6 equals 14. So I'm going to do this one more time for problem number 2, because we have a very similar problem where it says 9y minus 11 equals 7. And again, I could just try and guess. This is 9 times whatever y is. So 9 multiplied by a number here, minus 11 equals 7. So I could guess, I could say, well, maybe y is 1. So 9 times 1 is 9, minus 11 is negative 2. So it's going to be a lot bigger than 1. So maybe it's 9 times 3 or 9 times 2. And again, I could guess until I get the right answer, or I can just undo it, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to think of, if I undo this, I have 9y minus 11. To undo that, the opposite of that is plus 11. And I have to do the same thing to both sides. Oops, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Plus 11. So thinking ahead. So 7 plus 11, so I added 11 to both sides. So it's still equal. And so now I have 9y and 11, negative 11 and a positive 11 make 0. And then 7 and 11 is 18. And I think you already know that if I divide, this is 9 times y, so I'm going to divide by 9. So 18 divided by 9, 9 divided by 9, so that becomes y equals 2. And again, if we guessed and checked, we could have seen that 9 times 2 is 18 minus 11 is 7. So we can always go back and check. Does that work? Remember, this is 9 times y. So 9 times 2 minus 11 equals 7. Or 18 minus 11 equals 7. So it's true, it works. So again, I could have guessed some numbers till it worked, or I can use this, what we call algebraic method of undoing the problem, working backwards. This is minus 11, so I plus 11. This is times 9, so I divide by 9. So I'm always doing the opposite, and I'm always doing it to both sides. An equal sign is like a balance. If I think of a balance, and I have this balance, and what's over here and over here are equal, then that balance sign sits upon an equal sign. And whatever I put over here, I have to put over here. If I put something else over here, I have to put the same thing over here. So it's like a balance. Whatever is on one side of the equal sign has to be on the other side. And so that's kind of a basic look at how to solve equations. It's equations number 1 and 2. In another video, I'll look at more complex problems that have variables on both sides of the equation and how you would solve that. But for now, this is just solving basic equations with one variable.